Hello, we have Kate and Vic.
Hi.
Okay, it's fine. We're normal. This is like what? Fifth time's a charm.
Fifth time.
Fifth time.
So what have you guys been doing? Like, what projects are you working on? Give us all the deets.
Oh my god, all the things. Let me see here. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, because it like put you in a little window. There we go, so that I could take a look at our list here. So toward the end of January, we had one called Shattered come out. And it's by Lynn Reese, and it was a dark college why choose romance with a stepbrother in the group. And then we currently have one called Hired to Breed in like review, and that one is an Omegaverse book. We had one recently come out called Liam's Atlas by S. Rose. That one's a dark stalker romance. And then we have another one in review called Whatever He Wants, and that one's by Nev Knox, Nevenox. And she writes like forbidden / taboo age gap romance. So since the end of January, those are like what's come out and what's in review. And then currently we're working on
And just to explain, when she says in review, it means in review on ACX, which is Audible's back end.
Yes,
so.
their quality assurance has a hold of it right now.
But their quality assurance is not assured in the slightest.
It's not. We actually, so at the beginning of January, we had one called Servitude to Serpents. That one's by Callie Moss, and it's very, very, very dark romance. We had that one go live on Audible. And in my haste of like uploading plus like ADHD brain, because I'm always working on more than one project at a time. So I had Servitude to Serpents and I had Shattered that I was working on at the same time. They both start with S. And I was like editing them almost at the same pace. So I accidentally added chapter 28 from Shattered to chapter 28 for Servitude, and it went live like that. But I guess it's a testament to us as narrators and to the story, because somebody listened to it like that and still gave it 4 stars. So, yeah, that was a hot mess. But yeah, right now we're working on one called The Merciless Few. And that one's by K.R. Hall. And then we're working on Secret Obsession by Nick Slater, who's one of my best friends. Love them to death. They write a lot of like Omegaverse, why choose, MM plus, dark romance, has a taboo one coming out. They write all kinds of stuff. And we have one coming out next month that we just submitted the checkpoint for called Mafia Pregnancy. And that one's a Bratva. A Bratva Matvia is almost what I said. A Bratva Matvia. And that one, keeping all of my authors' names straight is very difficult.
That one's fun because I don't get to do a Eastern European accent very often, but it is the one I feel the most comfortable in. And I am really excited to actually have a project now where we can do that with.
Yes.
It's been a couple months of waiting for that.
That one's by Melanie Rain. And then we picked up one. I am so fucking excited about this. You have no idea. So I read this book like last fall called The Humiliated Wife. And it's like, do you ever see like those paper chapter books that pop up on like on Facebook, right? And so they like hook you in with like this big like betrayal, right? And then like you want to keep reading because it's like, I want to see this motherfucker get his comeuppance. So I got hooked in because like it starts kind of like that, where like it's like there's that hook of like there's this major betrayal. And I read it. It's by Elise Camden. And it is so good, and she's such a good writer. And that one came up on ACX, and I was like, we're auditioning for that. And I swear to God, if we don't get it, I'm gonna cry. And a few weeks later, she like got in touch with us and she was like, hey, so I would love for you to narrate this. And I was like, yes. I was so excited. So like I don't very often see books that like I've read come up on ACX like for us to be able to narrate. So I was super hype about that. Um yeah. And then I have a couple of solo projects and we've got a lot going on right now. we are we are currently booked solid through the rest of 2026. So
Yeah, you guys are booked out quite a ways. And I'm so proud
yeah.
of you, both of you.
Oh, thank you.
I
Thanks.
love listening to you guys, especially your bloopers that you put on TikTok.
Oh my God. We have so many blooper reels. We'll put more up soon.
Eeyore's gonna forever be my favorite.
Which one?
Eeyore.
Eeyore?
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
That was like our first video that we posted.
Was it really?
Yeah. It was so good. I was like, we can't not post this. Like,
No. No, I listened to it so many times.
yeah, it's so good.
I'm
So
really good at impressions that don't help us in our industry. Like, nobody's like, oh yeah, I want my MMC to sound like Eeyore.
I want my MMC to sound like Pumat's soul.
but I think that it does a great job of representing your voice, like your voice range.
Yeah, it does. Because like there's like his like natural like higher like head voice, and then like he drops into like that really deep chest voice for the Eeyore bit. So it's good.
You
oh
guys
my God,
crack
it's
me.
windy. It is so windy right now. Like, and I don't think we would notice, but we have our headphones on, so
It picks up a lot more noise.
yeah, it's crazy.
So tell me more about the wife book you just said. I forgot the name
The
of it already.
Humiliated Wife.
The Humiliated Wife.
Yeah. I like it a lot. And a big part of the reason why I like it is because it isn't your standard betrayal. Like it's not like a cheating betrayal.
Love that.
It's like so it's oh my God, it's windy. Sorry, it's very loud. So her husband is like this big shot at like this major corporation, and she is a school teacher. She teaches like fifth grade, and she's from like a little backwater town, and he's from the city, and like he marries her and he loves her, and like on the surface treats her very, very well, and then behind her back has created a social media account where like he posts like the super naive like backwoods things that she says and does, and like kind of the childish things that she does, and it has like 20,000 followers, and it's like primarily people just kind of making fun of her. And she doesn't know about it until she's at a major event and somebody points it out to her and is like, hey, you should see this. And she obviously like is humiliated and feels like awful. And so she fucking leaves him. She's like, I'm not going to deal with this. I'm out. Like, if you can't respect me, I'm gone. And so it's like her getting her life in order separate from him, and then him realizing how much he fucked up, because like he does legitimately love her. He just also thinks that like her little like innocent things that she does are funny, and like took advantage of that for the sake of like views
And like corporate culture, like to
yeah.
get ahead in his company, like to do something to make him stand out from the crowd. He ended up making fun of his wife for social status.
And so like all of his friends are like always making fun of her, and like he's like, it's just in good fun, like they're just like they're laughing with you, and she's like, but I didn't know they were laughing, so they were laughing at me. And like that's not okay. And like he was like posting things that like he told her in confidence, or she told him in confidence, and like all this awful stuff. And like it's really like in the beginning you're like, this dickhead. Like
It's hard. Like as a narrator, it's really, really hard not to let that come into your voice when you're narrating a character. And like this is supposed to come across, like the first few chapters of the book are supposed to come across like they're really in love, and like that's supposed to come across, and he's supposed to be supportive of her, and you know, be so caring and so protective and so kind, and that needs to come across. And like I'm reading these pages, and like every other line I'm like, what a fucking asshole. Like
because he knows what's coming. Like I read it and I told him. So, but like it's really good. It's so good. She's a good writer. She has a couple of other ones that are like cheating betrayal books. Um, and I have not read those ones yet, but yeah. And she's a super sweet person. Like we've been talking, and so
Well, good for
but yeah, I
her
just
for
yeah.
choosing herself for one.
Yeah.
That would be so hurtful,
yeah,
honestly.
Yeah. And that's like yeah, it's so good. And like I said, I really like I love that it's not your standard betrayal story. Like I love that cuz like you know some and I do it too. Like as an author, like I'm so guilty. Like I utilize the cheating trope constantly. And so I just like I love when there's like somebody who's like who steps outside of the box a little bit. And like I think that that too like kind of like like viral culture of like posting things at the expense of other people for the sake of views, like in general, not just necessarily your spouse, but like exploiting people for the sake of like the internet is a really disgusting thing to do. And so like I think that like kind of tackling that as like a social issue is really good too.
It is. Granted, I messed up last week. I did. I
Okay.
I posted a hilarious video of my child because it
Oh.
was hilarious, and then I was like, "Yeah, I'm deleting it,
Yeah.
taking it off." But he looked
Yeah.
orange. His hair literally dyed his whole body orange,
Oh
and I was
no.
hysterically laughing.
Oh my
He thought it
god.
was
Poor
funny too, but I was
baby.
like, "No, we're gonna take that off."
Yeah.
But yes, I do love the fact that author changed up the betrayal part because it's so
Yes.
repetitious most of the
It
time
really
when
is.
it's just cheating and cheating and cheating. You're
Yeah.
like, can he do something else? Like, how
Can there
about
be
not tell
some
her that that he bought like a dog sanctuary or horse sanctuary and's been running it behind her back.
It
There's
sounded like
there's
you said a horse sanctuary.
a horse.
Mhm, mhm.
I mean, if I think that if he ran a horse
Either,
sanctuary, that'd be a
really.
lot worse.
That would be a huge betrayal.
Divorce immediately.
But wait, is it like a brothel situation, or is it like where, you know, sex workers who don't want to be in the life anymore can go to like get out of the life?
I don't
Because
know.
one of them
You
is like
should write one.
altruistic.
Yeah, there you go.
I have too many writing
There's
ideas.
your
I
stories.
don't need anymore.
Can you have too many though? No.
Uh,
Okay,
You can have too
how
little time.
exactly. So how many are
yeah.
you currently working on?
So ones that I have drafts started, I have 16. And then I have an additional probably 10 that I have like ideas for, but I haven't started in on yet. So
Sounds accurate. And then you're
yeah,
gonna narrate all of them?
eventually. Some of them will bring in more people because I write Why Choose books. So we'll bring in for my big series, we're gonna bring in additional guys because there's 7 main male characters in it. And that's really unfair to him to make him do all of those. So
Can I put in Brandon Francis as one of the narrators?
oh yeah, he's very good. He might be out of my price range though. I don't know how much he charges. Yeah. And that's, I
And
don't know too, like, because some people are willing to negotiate with me because I'll be doing all of the editing and mastering myself. So they won't be responsible for any of that. And splicing those things together is going to be a nightmare. So I don't really know. I also don't really know how we're going to handle side characters either. Like, if I'm going to have, like, if it's like, Zorvan's character's point of view, like, if then, like, whenever that narrator is doing that point of view chapter, if they're also going to do the male side characters, or if I'm just going to have him narrate all of the side characters, or if I'll kind of divvy those up between the other guys. So we'll see. I'll likely be doing all of the female characters because there's not too many of those, really. I mean, there
what do
are.
you think, Vic?
I think that it'd be really funny to hire an additional narrator just to do all of the side characters and NPC type characters, because then it would feel like a game of D&D where every character has the same voice.
Where it's just an NPC.
Talk to the innkeeper and they have the same voice, and then you talk to the person waiting tables and they have the same voice.
That would be pretty funny.
Don't be mad, but I don't know anything about D&D.
Oh, that's fine.
We are nerds. We are big old nerds.
There's nothing wrong with being a nerd.
Mm-hmm. No, I have embraced that. It took a while, but we're at a point now where like D&D is cool and PCs are cool and movies are cool. They've always kind of been cool. Comic books are cool. What else? Rocks are cool.
My Little
rocks.
Pony is cool.
Yeah, My Little Pony's freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you don't get weird about it. Like, you can go too far.
What have you been
like
watching?
The really extreme bronies out there, like grown men who are like obsessed with My Little Pony, like it gets a little, like it tips over into weird for some of them. A casual brony I'm into, but like the extreme ones not so much.
What you do in the comfort of your own home is up to you. If you want to get really obsessed with something and have a shrine to My Little Pony, that is your choice. But it is important to read the room. Just like I wouldn't force you to listen to my character's backstory in D&D because it's boring as fuck. Probably.
So I didn't know this was a thing.
Bronies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's like a huge thing. I fell down a rabbit hole one time. I knew a guy who was a brony once. He cheated on his wife, who was a good friend of mine. So I think that may have left a sour taste in my mouth about bronies.
That would do it. Definitely going down that rabbit hole because I just pulled it up. I love that. If you guys want to dress up as My Little Ponies, go for it. This face was, I didn't know that was a thing. I love that for everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So,
no, man,
you guys narrate together in the same space.
Yes, we are currently in our booth right now, which is
kind of figured that, Kate.
Which is a 6 foot by 4 foot rectangle made out of PVC with moving blankets hung up around it.
Mm-hmm. I'm just, yep. But I don't know how you guys stay on track. Like,
we don't.
The amount of bloopers and like hysterical laughing.
Yeah.
How do you get anything done?
Oh, it's a struggle sometimes. It's much easier for me to record by myself because I don't have him to feed off of whenever. But like, yeah, whenever we're together,
it can be, it's hard not to laugh about things. And like, if one of us has like a mistake or a blooper or like misspeaks, it's hard to just let that go and not like riff on it and like make a joke out of it. But
like,
yeah.
what did I? Oh, I said lettuce last night, and then we started talking about slutty lettuce, and like it was a whole thing because like I don't know, my mouth didn't work the way that it needed to while I was narrating, and I said lettuce, and then it was slutty lettuce.
It also doesn't help that we record very late at night, and usually we're both somewhat sleep deprived. So if you ever stayed up past typical bedtime, you get like the sleepy ha's, and like that's kind of what we're dealing with along with everything else. So it can be really hard to stay on track, like whether it's something in the story or something we say incorrectly. So what you hear, the finished product, you can rest assured that if it's my line, probably I've said it at least twice. And if it's her line, she's probably gotten through most of them pretty well. But occasionally, like, she'll get stuck on one for 10 minutes.
Oh my God.
Like, we sit there and just go back and back and back.
There was one last night that I could not get through or 2 nights ago, because the author listed a bunch of states and then a few chapters later did it again and in the same order. And one thing about me is that I hate reading long lists. And so me trying to read this list of states, I would get through the first 3 and then I would lose it. And like just start like scream laughing because I couldn't get through it.
What was the states? The state? What? Why were they listed?
Because there were chapters of this motorcycle club in these different states, and so it was just like characters giving each other information, and so yeah, it just like it was so hard to get through them because, like I said, like listing off things is extremely difficult for me to like because it's hard because like you're sitting there. Well, first of all, it's like it was really hard for me to not start like saying the states like to the tune of 50 nifty United States, even though they weren't like in alphabetical order, but like just saying them in a way that's interesting whenever you just have a bunch of words that are strung together by commas. It's really hard to do. And so like the first time I was like, ugh, and then the second time I was like, oh my God. And like I just had such a hard time getting through it. Lists in general are hard.
They
They
are.
come out very bland a lot of times.
Well, and then the words mesh. Like it just
Yeah.
at that point it just
Yeah, and there's like no
letters.
you can't put emotions into lists. Like you can't. So yeah, it was rough.
I
It was a
mean,
struggle
could it be possible though?
to put emotion into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I want to see it done.
You can sing orchestra music using your mouth.
Absolutely.
I don't know what else you would use to sing, but
He sounds like a young man of many tastes, and I like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Very cultured.
Mm-hmm. You guys have how many books out on audio currently?
16.
And you guys just started? Like have you guys been doing this a while or no?
We've been doing this for 2 years, give or take. Like a year and a half. My first book was went live on Audible on September 5th of 2024. So like a year and a half. Now we started in the summer of that year, like narrating and editing and stuff. And then our next book went live that same month, but then we didn't have another one go live until January of 2025.
Because something happened in that time span.
Yeah. I got pregnant and had a baby. And so I was struggling. We like most of our first books were late. And bless our authors for being so patient with us. But they were so late because like I got pregnant and, you know, that first trimester exhaustion just kicked my ass. And then I had like a threatened miscarriage in August. And so I had to like take it easy for a little bit. And then because I was pregnant, I was like immunocompromised. And so every single time that our kids came home from school with some sort of like cold or whatever, I would be sick for like 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And so it was rough. Like it was like multiple colds, multiple sinus infections. And like we can't record if we sound like shit. Like nobody wants to listen to us sounding like this because we're so thick. Like, and so we got really behind. And but now we're like on a schedule. We've got things down to more of a science. We've changed the way that we edit. And so where it used to take me like 2 to 3 hours to get through like a 20-minute snippet, like or a 20-minute chapter. Now I can get it a 20-minute chapter done in probably about 35-40 minutes. So I have really like increased my speed on that. And just we've gotten better at narrating too. Like we've gotten faster and more capable. And so yeah, but yeah, so it's been about a year and a half. So, you know, averaging about a book a month for the last year and a half. So
That's amazing, you guys.
yeah.
And congratulations on your baby. And I'm sorry that it was so trying.
Yeah, no, it was a rough pregnancy, but
yeah, scary at times, but thank you. It has been an interesting journey this past year and a half or so. It really has been. And like looking back at like that first book we got, and I'm so thankful that it was one of the first books we got. Honestly, looking back on it, I probably would have been waved off by most of the veterans that we talk to and like have occasional conversations with and bounce ideas off of and stuff. Because there's a couple of different groups that we joined. We've actually started our own little small group to just like help other narrators get motivated and like share resources and stuff. But like that one of the first books we did was a Why Choose that had 4 male characters, and each one needed to have a distinct voice, obviously. And yeah, it was a really crazy experience getting into it because it was well written. It was you know, all these characters are really distinct and have like really defined and really clear motivations and character arcs and like emotions. So getting into this book, like it was a really good chance for me to overthink everything and get really self-conscious and get really nervous.
Put so much pressure on yourself.
But get so wrapped up in like coming up with these voices that like it was a good experience. Like it was really good. Like it was one of those like the whole, you know, throw yourself into something and like, you know, sink or float. And there was probably as much sinking as there was floating because there were some nights that I was like, I would get into it and I would try and be like, I'm not in the right headspace for this tonight. I need to be done. And I'd have to like leave the booth or whatever. That happened, you know, a couple of times, but you know, we got through it. And like going back, there's definitely things that I can hear now in my performance that like, okay, like I've learned to do this a little better. I can, you know, time things a little bit differently, but like, I'm still really proud of that performance. And I'm still glad that that's one of the first books we got. Cause I don't think that I would have improved as much had I not had such a giant hurdle to try to tackle in the first, you know, 2 months of us doing this.
Yeah.
It was both a blessing and a curse, but like, and we still have people who are listening to it now who are professional narrators saying like, you know, we did a really good job. So that's amazing to hear.
So for the record, that one's There's No Place Like Oz by Leanne Bell, and it's a Wizard of Oz retelling, obviously. And it's Why Choose, and
it's so good.
It's got some MM in it, and it's very dark at times. But it is so good. Leanne is a spectacular writer. We did another one for her called Of Monsters and Mazes, which is a David Bowie labyrinth retelling with some of the original like Greek mythology mixed into it. And so it is so good. And we've learned a couple of things since then. Like he doesn't need to have the same exact voice. As long as he has the same affectation, he doesn't have to have the same exact voice for like the narration part of it rather than the dialogue. And like, so we've learned a lot since then, and like making sure that he's not like putting a ton of pressure on himself and still giving a good performance, because something that we've noticed about like a lot of other narrators is that there isn't a ton of differentiation between like the, you know, the inner monologue and the prose versus, you know, the dialogue pieces. They just sort of change the delivery rather than their actual voice. And so
and there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
no,
clearly
it works.
It's really popular in the industry, and you know, people really like listening to it. But I grew up listening to like Stephen Fry and
Jim Dale,
and like even more recently like Andy Serkis, and like they are incredible voice actors where they have such a varied range where they can change like pitch and tone and tempo and emotion, and like even where they stand around the microphone to change how their voice is hitting the microphone, which changes like the flavor of their voice, so like the tone of it, and like all of those things together, you know, they can come up with like over 100 different unique voices, and you can listen to it and immediately know who each character is. And like, while I am at the very, very, very beginning stages of that, I would like to someday work towards something like that. So
but they're classically trained actors too. So I mean, holding ourselves to that standard, especially this early,
it's ridiculous. But I mean,
he's still gonna do it.
I'm still gonna do it. That'd be dumb to do. Who would do that? That's stupid. I'm gonna do it, but like, that's stupid. So yeah, it's really important to me that the characters do sound distinct. And like, there are definitely times where, you know, I come up with a voice for a character and like it's not as distinct as I would like, and two characters kind of like interacting with each other, it's hard to differentiate them at times, so I have to kind of pitch one down a little or pitch one up a little.
Thank God for dialogue tags.
Dialogue tags save my ass occasionally.
The motorcycle club book that we're working on right now, there's like 11 guys that like are side characters because they're all a part of this motorcycle club. And so like it just got to a point where we had to be like, okay, these people are relatively unimportant in the grand scheme of things, so they're going to get very similar voices. Like we can't do a completely different voice for this many guys. Loud truck going by our house.
Freaking tank driving by our house right now.
Do you still struggle with, I don't remember like verbatim what you said, but by struggling with not feeling like you're right there with the people who's been doing it for a long time?
Yeah. And I mean, I think that to a degree that is like 100% the case. Like, I mean, whenever you think like, so Andy Serkis played Gollum. And so he recently did an edition of The Lord of the Rings, where he had distinct voices for every character in the book. And so, but again, he's a classically trained actor. He's a voice actor. And, you know, he's had years and years and years of training. And so obviously, like I've had some theater classes and I act as our director within the booth.
Theater.
I hate the theater. But like we, you know, there's going to be a miss there too, because like without getting with like lit RPGs and like high fantasy books and sci-fi books and things like that aren't necessarily romance, you can get into some of those like crazy voices and accents too.
I'm so excited for that.
Where with, you know, a contemporary romance, everybody has to have a normal voice. You can't make a caricature out of, in like a relatively serious book, you can't, you know, you can't speak like this whenever you have somebody that's very hoity-toity, because like it's over the top and ridiculous.
If it was a children's book, you could get away with it. If it was young adult, you might be able to get away with it. But
if it was a rom-com, even like if it was kind of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of book, like I would, you know, I would be okay with it. But like whenever it's, you know, a drama, you can't do, because it's going to take people out of it and they're going to be like, the fuck is this guy doing? Like, so, Yeah, we have to be a little careful about that. But yeah, it's just one day we'll get there, and one day we'll be able to afford coaching and maybe be able to take some improv classes and things like that. So
I think you're being too hard on yourself first.
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
both of
there's
you are
always
great.
room to improve. You know what I mean? Like, it's like continuing education credits whenever you're a social worker or whatever the fuck. Like, there's always room where you could improve, you could learn new skills, you could get better and like, hone your voice. A lot of people say taking singing lessons to help with your breath control and like things
That is
like
something
that.
I have started, and that does help a lot.
Singing. My sinuses close up sometimes.
And we also have complete permission to make fun of each other in the booth.
Yeah.
I have a stutter. She makes fun of me for it sometimes.
My sinuses close up and I continue. That's one of the big ones that like I have a really hard time with. My sinuses close up so bad on that one.
Sealing off the blast doors in the middle of a sentence, you can hear the distinct change. Where there's like this flap that just closes. So yeah.
But yeah, the point is that like we don't want to just stay where we are because we do see where there's room for improvement. We're proud of where we are now. And it took whenever we go back and listen to our old, like the first audition that we did.
If anyone wants to hear it, I have a clip of the first audition I ever submitted, and one of the most recent ones we got actually for the Mafia Pregnancy book, where there was a distinct shift where I felt like I came into like a really clear and defined and unique tone for my narration. And you can hear like the first clip it's so strange and off-putting that it makes sense that someone thought that I was AI when we first started doing this. They were like, yeah, your voice sounds great, but like the husband character that you're using doesn't sound believable. Like you should.
They thought that I was like, oh yeah, it's me and my husband, and then like used AI to like fill in the male parts. And I was like,
you're some lonely crazy cat lady.
And I was like, didn't know I was married to a robot, but okay.
But I believe it. Going back and listening to it, like I'm autistic and did not have a standard like social upbringing, so like did not have a lot of that interaction with people. So my inflections are really weird at times, and sometimes like when we're in the booth together, like Kate will try to give me some input and be like, hey, like the inflection here was kind of weird, like you'd really want it to be here to have emphasis here, and I'm like, okay, like that makes sense to me, but like that doesn't really seem to work in my brain. I'll have to like work around with it for a little bit. So yeah, going back and listening to that, like the way that my inflections were going and like the cadence that I had and like the pitch kind of throughout, like I'm hearing it and I'm like, wow, like that guy needs some lessons. And then like I have a clip like a few seconds later of where I was at, 3-4 months ago. And it's a huge difference. It's a huge difference. So if anyone's curious, you can go and you can hear that on our TikTok or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah. And I listened to one of our first ones, and I'm a fast talker in general. And so teaching myself how to slow the fuck down when I'm reading for like narration, because we make this joke all the time that like we start talking too fast and it's like, here we got done with your audiobook, and then we give it to them and it's just going like it's all the words in one like syllable, because like sometimes we talk entirely too fast and like we have to constantly slow down, take a breath, like
deep breath, relax your shoulders, let your tongue drop from the roof of your mouth, like calm down.
But like one of the first auditions that we did, I was talking like a clip that probably should have taken 4 minutes was like 2 3/4. Like I was speaking so fast. And so like we have done a lot, and I constantly have like authors telling me to like, they're like, I really liked this, and like I'm really excited for you to work on this book, but like can you slow down a little, and like can you put a little bit more space in between your words?
Can you not be on speed next time you record this for me?
Were you on crack?
Because like it's such an underutilized thing, but like pauses are part of the language, like especially for like performance. Like if you want something to have more impact, if you have more of a pause before that line, even if you have like a few words in a sentence and you have a pause in between those words in a sentence, you can really increase the impact of a final part of a sentence by having more of a pause there, or having a pause before the next word, or whatever. And that's something that it takes a while to get an ear for, because you don't use it in everyday speech. And that's something that I realized pretty quickly when I really started trying to look at my performances and trying to figure out like one thing that I can try to improve each week, so I didn't like overwhelm myself with everything, which is what I normally do.
Everything all at once have to be better. Just like can't take time on it.
I realized that with 4 kids ranging from 7 to 1 years old, I have to try to say what I need to say to whoever I'm talking to as fast as possible before I get interrupted. So it's like, get your shoes on, let's go outside. And like, slurring the words together, it doesn't really matter. Just got to get that information out. Like any
not
parent,
that they hear us anyway.
Not that matters. I'm going to have to go over and do it for them anyway. So, somewhere along the line that clicked in my brain where I was like, okay, like when you get into the booth, like you're not trying to do that. You need to take a breath and slow down and calm down and like really try to let your words and your inflections like breathe and, enunciate your words. And that's a really hard thing to shift into. So especially because like there's this weird thing happens and you probably understand, like when you put on headphones, especially, but like putting on headphones, getting into this booth where we do have lights in here, but like it's black because we have the curtains in here. And it's kind of like this weird semi-sensory deprivation experience.
We could just put sheets up over the blankets, like white sheets.
We could try this. We could. I mean, why
have we not thought about this before? Oh my God.
Why would you guys want to add color? Sheets. Is the question. That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it is like you like end up in like this sensory deprivation chamber where you're like you start to get kind of tired and you feel disoriented.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, what does my voice normally sound like? Why is it so low? And then like a lot of times our issues, like my main issue with narration right now is that like when I relax, my voice gets really, really low. So when I'm narrating, like I'll start narrating in this voice and like this is much too low for a narration. And like normally when I get in the booth, like I want to narrate up here and I want my voice to be a little brighter and a little higher and maybe a little bit faster at times, or just have a little bit more, a more casual sound to it. And if I start narrating down here and like when I'm talking, my narration gets really like gravelly and like then I go to do a character voice and I have to go even lower than that. And then by the end of the book, I'm so low. You're
speaking like this the whole time.
So low and so gravelly. I'm having a really hard time maintaining this character voice. And like, I don't know what's going on tonight. And then I realized, it's because like I've been speaking in like a chest voice for the past 20 minutes of narration. And now like I can't go lower.
And so I have to like constantly like pause and be like pause the recording and be like, hey, you're getting kind of low in your narration. You might want to bring it up just a little bit. And like
hum a bar or two and bring it up. And so all things you learn. And like a lot of this, like people ask us all the time, like, do you have to get coaching to be a narrator? And the answer is no. I am proof that you don't have to get a coach to learn how to be a narrator or to be a successful narrator to whatever, degree of success that we've gotten to. But it will take you.
You just need a wife that's kind of mean to you.
That's true. That helps. But it'll take you twice as long. It will take you twice as long. And if you are autistic, it will be probably longer than that. And you will like perseverate on things that you don't need to. And like, so you can do it. But if you can afford coaching, it'll be so much easier and so much better for you. I promise.
Yeah.
Okay. But listening, like reading people's tones or like hearing the difference in people's tones or like even in text message, was hard as shit. Yeah. So
it really is. And there's a lot of times too where we'll come across a line and like, there won't be a lot of context. Like there's context in the sense that we're in the middle of the scene and we know what's going on in the scene. But like there's two ways that like you could read a line sincere or you could read a line sarcastic, and they don't have direction in that, like, because some authors will be like, he said sardonically or whatever the fuck, and like so, or like he had a sarcastic smile or like whatever, and so how you should read that line. But then like there are other times where like you come across it and it's like, okay, like I could read this sarcastically or I could read it because like it doesn't necessarily change the reaction, I guess. Like if the other person's going to be mad, they're going to be mad, because even if you say it sincerely, it might come across as mildly offensive. And so it's like, it's up to our interpretation. And like, it's hard because like I have, like, I get in my head, like, what my interpretation should be, and he gets in his head what his interpretation should be. And then, like, we have to sit there and have a discussion about, like, what the right one is. And I usually win, but it's...
We compromise and then she wins.
I was just going to ask who wins.
He puts his foot down quietly in the bathroom where no one can hear him.
Yeah.
But
it's also fun when you get to dialogue tags, and like we've had to remind ourselves of this pretty often, where like there are certain dialogue tags that inform the listener or the reader what was said and don't necessarily inform the narrator how to say it, because there's certain things that you can't narrate, you can't inform with your inflections or your tone or a pause or whatever you're going to do. You can't have like an undercurrent of, you know, like vitriol while also trying to sound, you know, bright and professional. And like there's certain things that, I mean, that even is a bad example because you can do that, but like there's certain things that you can't really do. So when you read the dialogue tag
where it has like 6 different descriptions of what was in the tone of the voice, and it's like, pick 1 or 2 and then leave it at that, because that's too much going on there.
Yeah. And like, you know, it's the same thing. Like I think about it a lot when you suddenly become like an expert, when you like the reader are reading a book, like you suddenly become an expert at reading things in people's eyes. Like I could see in his eyes, like this depth of emotion and explanation, like literally there's text in his eyes that tell you what he's feeling right now. And like, that's completely unrealistic. Like people don't look at somebody and think those kinds of things or read people like that. Most people don't.
His eyes darkened.
Yeah. They darkened with a sense of like foreboding at my words, but there's also like a kindness there too. And like, nobody, you can't do that. So like, it's that kind of thing where like you read a dialogue tag at the end of a sentence and like he said darkly, or like, you know, he said with a reserved trepidation. That's like, you know, so you have to accept that there's certain things that you can't do as a narrator, and the dialogue tags are going to inform something additional that the listener needs to hear, but isn't necessarily something you can put in your tone. And that can be difficult to kind of figure out. So it's all just like,
so anyway,
it's little things.
Now that we've gone on for 15 minutes about the technical aspects of narrating.
Sure, this is
no,
super
I'm
exciting.
here for it.
But
subtexts are important, and so
it really
dialogue.
is. It really, really is.
But what does she smiles with her bottom teeth mean?
I don't know. I don't see. So my interpretation of that has always been, because like whenever you just like give a normal smile, you can't see someone's bottom teeth, right? But if somebody gives a really big grin, you can see their bottom teeth. You know what I mean? That was always my interpretation of it. And so whenever people like started poking fun at that, I was like, wait. Did I read too much into this? Is it just a weird thing to say, or is my interpretation the correct one?
I think if you have a genuine smile, you're showing all of your teeth or just your top teeth. I don't know if there's anyone who can smile with just their bottom teeth, but that's, I don't know. Maybe I've just never noticed it before.
No,
well, there were a bunch
no.
of...
I'm with you. I'm with you. Who smiles with their bottom teeth?
Yeah, and there were a bunch of videos going around of people like
trying to do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the underbite.
I know, I think they're hilarious.
You can hear. You know what I'm doing.
Oh yeah, 100%. See, I like whatever. I'm not going to smile, but how?
Oh my goodness.
There's some things in books that I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Are you trying to get at?
Yeah, it can be really hard sometimes. Oh, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
We can't hear you.
Does your mic have a mute button on it by chance?
Did you? No.
Can you hear me now?
Did I mute something on our end? I didn't touch it, so I don't.
So.
Hello.
It's still lighting up. Like we should be able to see you, like, or hear you. I mean, that's what I said.
The sigh of frustration.
Maybe I blew my mic. Who knows?
No. Oh no.
Can you hear me now?
No.
That's so weird because like I can see like your audio input, like the box is still lighting up as though we should be able to hear you, but like it's just not coming through.
Can you hear me now?
It's weird. Nope, still no. Weird.
Huh. That's so strange.
That's why I was wondering if there was like a physical mute button on your microphone, because I know some mics do have that.
Can you hear me now?
Did you maybe bump the cable like whenever you leaned forward and it like jostled it and no. Nope.
Son of a bitch.
We are cursed, man. We are cursed.
Hey, we got 57 minutes into it this
That's
time
far.
before this happened.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Nope.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Can
What
you hear
would
me
be
now?
really funny is if your recording was picking it up on your end, just we couldn't hear it.
Can you hear me
We
now,
could just
though?
guess what you're saying.
This is so strange. How did you fix it last time? Did we just leave and come back last time? I can't remember. Because this happened last time.
Maybe I blew my mic.
No, I don't like those on my hamburger. Why would you ask that? That's weird.
Pickles are great, okay?
Man, I really wish I could read lips right now.
I can.
This seems like a fun party game.
We can do that. Party games.
Oh, so just, answer questions that we think you're asking? Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Mhm.
Huh.
Do you sign?
So if we leave and you save this recording, if we leave and then come back to see if that fixes it, can you just like stitch them together wherever you upload them to? Okay. Do you want to try that? Yes. Okay. All right. Bye.
You can't hear me now?